In the Western RPG genre, where everything has long been invented and modeled, it's hard to surprise and stand out. That's why rare exceptions like Planescape, Torment, and Disco Elysium are warmly received. The authors of Undungeon were clearly inspired by the former. Here we also have a multiverse divided into plans, a lot of strange names, strange creatures and races, and we play as an immortal hero, the Messenger, who meets a character that remember him very well from the previous episodes. Naturally, the game does not reach the level of Planescape, but it's still interesting. In Undungeon, the setting is very unusual, but to me, as a person who just finished the last two episodes of the original Evangelion, at first it was almost physically difficult to understand and perceive it, so I will allow myself a direct quote about what's going on here. A start quote. The dimension were once hollow spheres. On the inner surface of the world matrices were moving with cores. They connected dozens of planets. The core of creation gave the gods settled in the dimension the mass to creation world, but the balance of the core was broadly distributed, and it fell into its own center, forming an abyss below it. The shift shifted the laws of reality and tore the planets apart. Now they are slowly disintegrating along with the laws of the universe, and the dimensional matrices are falling into the abyss under the mass of God dwelling in them. And the only thing that now connects them to reality is the sutra that leads from the core of creation of the core of lamp. Did you get it? Understand anything? And you say Evangelion. But the bottom line is simple. The task of the immortal messenger is precisely to prevent this final disintegration and the fall of the worlds into abyss. And to do that, we need to attract to the moorings with the kernels in each dimension, attach them to the hub, build Nuance Arc here, and then kill the local god. This will save some of the mortals. When we do this in all available dimensions, we can build a new reality, actually save the world. I thought our herald looks like a messenger of a dead itself. In order not to torture you further, I will say at once, despite of the above and a lot of strange false names, we do usual things. Herald travels around the maps, finds a clearest new location, meets merchants or bandits, communicates, fights, complete quests, levels up and collect resources to build the arc. The hub gradually open up more and more opportunities for crafting, we make equipment and medicines. Grenades are the consumables, recycle unnecessary resources, creating plants. The latter are actually organs, but the essence is the same. By making and installing a new heart, brain, eye, skin, legs, or gastrointestinal tract in the corresponding slot, we increase certain characteristic, or as in the case of the GI tract, increase the effectiveness of treatment. There is event of a social organ, which gives bonuses to allies and discount from merchants, and what this wonderful organ is, you will find out for yourself. New organ recipes can be learned directly in battles. After that, you can take an ad supply and remove the necessary ingredients from the enemy's body. Having accumulated enough essence experience, that is, we pump not a character and its core, but the essence it again familiar and clear. Each level raises the parameter of the messenger and opens new cells for installing runes. And notes. The latter are artifacts which differ from runes is that they give permanent effects, and yet the same notes can be combined into more powerful, being specially trained wizard for this essence, that it, in fact, already gained experience. From this detail form the gameplay of Undungeon, not to uniqueness, but speciality. For example, the enemies here are pumped up directly in battle as they deal damages. This is some little spider got on the Great Immortal Herald, and now 1, 2, 3 start are lit about it, and it becomes more and more difficult to kill. This is no longer a small thing, but an important and interesting trick. In addition, each type of weapon, breastplate and mask put on the character gives different skills. Some claws, if you hold down the corresponding button, allow you to deal damage to everyone around you. Others allow you to leap to the target. One mask allows you to make a controlled dash with mines scattered behind you. Another makes us invisible for a while and increases the speed of movements. That's it. By changing the equipment, we in fact change the style of the game. Another trick, the presence and artifacts and equipment, increasing the change of performing 15 actions directly in combat to call for help alias or some creature. As a result, there were times when I didn't even notice that walking flowers and giant frogs intervened for me in the heat of the feared fight. The battles themselves are in real time, but they can always be paused to change the type of constables, of which there are many. Surprisingly, in a world that seems to be crumbling and falling into the abyss, life is booming. As I said, as we move around the map, we constantly discover new locations. Nests, abandoned camps, templates, farms where I tagged or offered to trade, and the messenger communicator keep popping up with information someone wants to meet, offer their goods, or send a distress signal. There are plenty of quests, including side quests. We are looking for a lost creature, delivering further, trying to fulfill an order for a hitman, hunting a huge animal for available shell, and finding out what a mysterious organization has set up a hunt for us. The last quest is particularly interesting. In the process, we came out to a bar that moves between dimensions, where the order was given to us, and the conversation with the bartender will remind you of the movie John Wick. Often a choice is given us what to do. The killer target will tell his side of the story, and the lost creature we want other comrades. Once I had to act as a judge, deciding to fate of a kind of bandit who kind of terrorizing a trace camp. Why sort of? Because he has his own version of what happened, but the verdict is ours, and all decisions increase or decrease the karma of the messenger. And yet I just missed the interesting, non-linear communication and research-oriented assignments, because it often comes down to the fighting and gathering resources anyway. Clearly interesting quests and characters aren't going anywhere, and the fights here, as I said, are unique and intense in their own way, but still in such an unusual and well-developed setting that evokes association with Planetscape. Torment, I want to see more non-trivial situation. However, this is my personal desire. On the game's Steam page, the authors of Undungeon write that it redefines the genre by combining old school spirit with a fresh modern design. In fact, of course, that's not true. It doesn't redefine anything there. It's just a good solid action RPG with a couple of interesting features and a very cool setting that even has note of Planetscape Torment. And it could have been even better if the authors focused a little less on gathering resources and even more on the quest, dialogues, non-trivial characters, and moral choices. However, in this form, Undungeon deserves the attention of fans of the genre. The pros of the game is a non-trivial and well-developed setting, colorful characters, plenty of story and side quests, good text, that are pleasant to read, exciting gameplay in the tradition of action RPG, but with its chips, interesting finding and battles, and in the role system nice pixel art. And cons is in the constant gathering of resources and heavy emphasis of crafting gradually begins to tire.